Previously in Part 1 of the Marcos-Tantoco Nexus, we uncovered the deep-rooted ties between the Tantoco Empire and its long-standing connection to Ferdinand Marcos, but that was just the beginning.
Hello, Don Fellman, please. This is Joey Rubio, Philippine Daily Observer.
Hello, Joey. What is it this time?
You've been around long enough to know how these things start. Power, wealth, and none of it appears out of thin air.
You young ones always think the story begins when it reaches the headlines. But before the luxury stores, before the Swiss accounts, there was a man. Bienvenido Tantoco Sr.
And what made him different?
He wasn't just a businessman. He was a bridge between Marcos and the money. Before the world knew him as a retail magnate, he was something else, a trusted steward of wealth.
And Marcos, how does he fit into this?
Marcos didn't just collect gold and cash. He needed hands to hold it, to move it, and Tantoco. He was one of the most trusted hands.
This video has been thoroughly examined and cross-referenced by K. Anton reports, ensuring its accuracy to the best measure possible based on available records, historical accounts, and investigative findings. Born into humble beginnings, Bienvenido Tantoco Sr. was not born into wealth, but built his empire from the ground up. Before he became a retail tycoon, he started as a simple entrepreneur, navigating the complexities of post-war Philippine business. His early years were marked by persistence and a keen understanding of commerce, traits that would later make him a key figure in the country's business elite. Tantoco's breakthrough came when he co-founded Rustan's in 1952 with his wife Glyceria Rustia Tantoco. What began as a small business selling imported goods soon transformed into the country's premier luxury retailer. His ability to establish relationships with both foreign investors and political power players set him apart, ultimately paving the way for a business empire that would become deeply intertwined with the country's political landscape. The rise of Bienvenido Tantoco Sr. Bienvenido Tantoco Sr. wasn't just another businessman. His rise to power came within the inner circles of the political elite, where business and governance blend into a world of strategic alliances. When Rustan's was established, it wasn't just a high-end retail store. It was a gateway to influence, a bridge between Filipino elites and foreign capital. By the 1960s, Ferdinand Marcos Sr. was consolidating power, and he knew that influence wasn't just about politics. It was about controlling the flow of money. The Tantocos, with their growing empire in luxury goods, international trade, and elite social circles, became an indispensable asset to his administration. The Hawaii residence, a symbol of loyalty. When Marcos was exiled to Hawaii, one of the more curious revelations was that his residence was linked to the Tantoco family. Was this a coincidence? Hardly. The relationship between Bienvenido Tantoco Sr. and Marcos wasn't just political. It was deeply personal and financial. Even after Marcos fell, the Tantoco financial machine remained intact. The question is, were they simply friends, or were they guardians of something far bigger? Rustan's and the Marcos Economic Network. Rustan's wasn't just a store, it was a financial force. Throughout history, luxury retail in elite circles has been known to serve more than just high society. It has often been a discreet financial channel where assets can move with minimal scrutiny. Given the Marcos-era economic landscape and the deep ties between Bienvenido Tantoco Sr. and the administration, some have speculated that Rustan's played a critical role in financial movements during this time. Luxury businesses worldwide have been used to move money, store value, and operate with a degree of discretion not afforded to traditional banks. While there are no direct legal cases tying Rustans to such activities, the timing, growth, and positioning of the company raise important questions about who benefited and how. The Tantoco Financial Web. While the Tantocos have long been associated with the Marcos administration, legal scrutiny over their financial dealings has produced mixed results. The Presidential Commission on Good Government (PCGG) had previously alleged that the Tantocos acted as financial intermediaries for the Marcoses, particularly in operating tourist duty-free shops. However, in a 2019 ruling, the Sandiganbayan dismissed the case, citing a lack of sufficient evidence to prove that the Tantocos were dummies for the former First Family. The decision underscored the difficulty in definitively linking private business success with political influence, leaving many questions unanswered. By the 1970s, the Tantoco empire had expanded beyond retail. They were now in luxury goods distribution, finance, and offshore investments. The pattern was clear. Political influence and economic expansion often went hand in hand. Some accounts suggest that Swiss banking networks and overseas trusts tied to Marcos may have had indirect links to the same financial circles used by the Tantocos. The full extent of these connections remains a mystery. But what's certain is that the lines between political wealth and private business were often blurred. Vatican and overseas trusts. One of the most fascinating theories surrounding Marcos' hidden wealth is its alleged ties to Vatican-linked financial institutions. The Tantocos, being among the most well-connected elite families in the Philippines, had access to Rome and key European banking networks. Was this just part of their business expansion? Or was there a more complex financial network operating behind the scenes? While definitive evidence remains elusive, historical patterns suggest that politically linked families often position themselves within global financial frameworks. The Marcos-Tantoco Nexus, a network of mutual benefit. Unlike other Marcos allies who crumbled after the dictator's fall, the Tantocos thrived. Rustans didn't just survive, but it remained a dominant force in Philippine retail. Why? One perspective suggests that the Tantocos weren't just Marcos financiers. They were key players in an intergenerational financial system. Some speculate their empire wasn't just about selling luxury goods. It was built to endure political turbulence while safeguarding elite financial interests. What comes next? As we continue uncovering the Marcos-Tantoco Nexus, the next chapter will trace the pathways of hidden assets, the movement of wealth, the offshore accounts, and the role of elite Filipino-Chinese business networks in securing assets long after the dictatorship fell. So it's becoming a bit clear now that the Marcos fortune was never just about one man. It was about a system. But could the Tantocos have played a role in maintaining the machinery that kept the system running? To be continued.